There is something that characterizes every Spanish landscape that makes it different from any other corner of the world. It is the sun, present almost 365 days a year, which warms the sand on its beaches, filters through the sea, and finds its way through the valleys. The sun that lights up its villages and cities, Spain is, without a shadow of a doubt, the country of light. This program is going to take you on a tour through inland Spain, a dreamlike landscape that brings you villages, rivers, mountains, and valleys. Andalusia, in the south of Spain, is the largest autonomous community in the country and a land of contrast, but where the happiness of its people is reflected in every corner of the region. The land of sunshine is also the place with the highest level of rainfall in Spain. We are flying over the Grazalema Mountains in the province of Cádiz. Here, between the brown-colored mountains and green countryside, from the air you can make out the tiny white dots that mark out the roads between these villages, characterized by the radiant white of their houses. Whitewash and sunshine bathe this place with an extraordinary tranquility, a sense of perfect harmony between man and nature. Arcos de la Frontera is one of Andalusia's prettiest villages and is one of the most outstanding examples of the very typical hillside settlements of this region. On the slopes of the Huaral Mountains, the Jara de la Sierra is another example of villages that are perched in impossible locations. The town of Nazarí, looked over by the tower of the Homenaje Castle, presides over a collection of unique and extremely beautiful architectural buildings. No house could be painted any other color. Here, white reigns supreme. Ronda, situated on the nearby mountains that carry the same name, rests majestically on a plateau cut through by a deep cleft that has been dug out by the river Guadalquivir. The cornice of this gorge and the fabulous 18th century bridge spanning it provide the image par excellence of a city that has become one of the main tourist attractions of this part of Andalusia. Eastwards, in the province of Malaga, we fly over the district of the Valley of Guadalhorce. Thought of as being the kitchen garden of Malaga, it is characterized by a diversity of landscapes in which olive groves mingle with almond trees on a land that alternates between flat plains and golden wheat fields. The river Guadalhorce, whose name comes from the Arabic meaning scissors, seems to live up to its name as it snakes its way through valleys, creating unimaginable gorges. The town of Antequera once again offers us the characteristic white color of this region. Its splendid Alcazaba, or castle, dominates the highest point of the city. It is a Muslim fortress built in the 14th century to halt the ongoing advance of the Christian armies during the reconquest of the Iberian Peninsula. The banks of the river Guadiana provide a complete change of landscape. We have arrived in Extremadura. Despite being a region with no access to the sea, it is the one part of inland Spain with the most kilometers of shoreline thanks to its numerous rivers, reservoirs, and streams. In this area, the marshlands irrigate leafy farmland in which olive trees and vines grow side by side in perfect harmony. Huge expanses of pasture on which grazing livestock roam freely. The Iberian pig is lord and master of these lands. This is one of the main production regions for the famous Iberian cured ham. The forests of cork trees in the area account for more than half the surface area dedicated to this type of woodland across the globe. Heading northwards, we enter the autonomous community of Castilla y León. In the province of Salamanca, the Sierra de Francia is a mountainous environment with valleys carved out by the different rivers and is dotted with forests. This is high land on the northern plateau, where the plains surrounding Salamanca end and a series of peaks begin on which the convent of St. John de las Batuecas stands, occupied since 1599 by monks of a closed order. Nestled in these mountains, we can make out one of the prettiest villages of deepest Spain, La Alberca. Salamanca, the capital, is one of the Spanish cities declared by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. To the north lies Galicia, the green corner of Europe. One of the most spectacular landscapes offered by inland Galicia is that shaped by the river Sil that runs its course through deep canyons. Known as the Ribera Sacra, it combines a landscape of deep gorges on whose stone slopes vines are grown, with a huge number of abandoned monasteries and temples in forests that give the area a magical appearance and go some way to explaining the reason why this land has been the inspiration of so much legend. Today, the Benedictine monastery of St. Stephen, built in the 16th century, is a fantastic hotel, offering the visitor all the charm of centuries-old buildings. Its 3 cloisters, perfectly preserved, invite its guests to enjoy peace and rest. Its natural surroundings are just as beautiful. In neighboring Asturias, it is hard to choose one single place in which to stop and stay. Here, everything is green meadows and gentle hills crisscrossed by rivers that, before reaching the Cantabrian Sea, wend their way through villages and towns in which every corner hides a monument. Castles and fortresses vestiges of a land that was the birthplace of the Christian reconquest of the Muslims in the 8th century. In search of the sea, we crossed the peaks of the Aramo Mountains, coming into view in a sea of clouds. The capital of the Principality of Asturias is Oviedo, watched over from on high by the statue of the Naranjo Christ. Just a few kilometers away lies the Cantabrian coast in all its glory. Green hills run down to the sea to create a rocky coastline in which beaches of extreme beauty are hidden away. The estuaries in which the sea meets terra firma act as our guide as we go in search of the Cantabrian Mountains. The valleys shaped by the rivers Saja and Nansa are, without a doubt, one of the most surprising corners of Cantabria. This is the Saja National Nature Reserve. In this hunting reserve, the largest in Spain in terms of size, we can find a natural landscape offering splendid forests. Tiny hamlets, in which time seems to have stood still, are the only visible settlements. The Saja National Nature Reserve is nature's gateway to one of the most beautiful and spectacular mountainous landscapes in Spain, the Picos de Europa National Park. This is one of Spain's 9 national parks, and after the Teide National Park in Tenerife, is the one most visited by tourists from all over the world. Its eastern massif was declared a national park in 1918 by the King Alfonso XIII under the name the Covadonga Mountain National Park, and was the first protected area in Spain. On the peaks, on which you may well find snow at any time of the year, water from the melting ice gently descends to the intensely green, leafy valleys. The huge quantity of water produced by melting ice that is collected throughout the park along with its haphazard topography, forms a landscape dotted with rivers and extensive lakes. Under the surface of the Riaño Reservoir lies an old village of the same name, flooded in 1987 in order to construct the reservoir. The new village now stands in a privileged spot on the shores of the lake at the foot of the mountains. Deep among the valleys appear tiny hamlets, the only sparse evidence of humanity in this region. Almost 70,000 hectares of natural landscape for just 4,500 inhabitants make the Picos de Europa the perfect place in which to lose yourself. The wealth of fauna in the national park is exceptional. It is the habitat of 88% of all land mammals to be found on the Iberian Peninsula. The green valleys of Cantabria gradually change to farmland as we travel in a southerly direction. The province of Palencia, with its endless fields of cereal crops, offers the best example of the Castilian plateau. However, the course of its rivers shapes canyons and leafy gorges to give this region a huge variety of landscapes. The medieval castles from which the name of the region derives are yet more emblems of these lands. The castle of Ampudia is an example of the extraordinary state of conservation of many of these authentic jewels of civil Castilian architecture dating from the 15th and 16th centuries. Over 30 meters high, the main tower stands out over the rest of the building, dominating the town of Ampudia from the hillock on which it stands.
Have you ever seen a rainbow go? Have you ever seen a light bulb blow? Do you wanna see a heart get broken? I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Don't say goodbye when you don't have to go.
Our tour of these vast Castilian lands now takes us into the province of Soria. Here, hidden in the Urbion hills, is a wooded land through which the river Lobos flows. It is one of the largest pine forests in Europe.
But don't say goodbye.
The river Lobos Canyon is dotted with gorges and waterfalls that rise from ancient pools created during the Ice Age.
Have you ever seen an ember go out?
Pools whose waters seem black and whose depths appear to plunge right into the center of the earth.
Have you ever seen a tree get grounded? Do you want to? Unless you want to, don't say goodbye when you don't have to go.
Here there are endless traces of medieval times. Hermitages and castles provide us with an idea of what this region was like back when it was part of the old Kingdom of Castile.
Anytime, tell me anything that you like.
Our course is set for the autonomous community of Madrid and San Lorenzo de El Escorial, located a mere 50 kilometers from the Spanish capital. This is why, during the 16th century, King Philip II had no doubt where he wanted to construct the St. Lawrence Monastery, and that this would be the nerve center of the Castilian crown. He also picked out the very place from which he wished to oversee its construction. He had a chair carved out from a rock on which he used to sit and gaze at the monastery with the Abantos hills in the background. Still today, you can enjoy these same panoramic views of Madrid from the south-facing slopes of the Guadarrama Mountains. The view from there is simply spectacular. El Escorial, the jewel in the crown of Spanish architecture, was the traditional residence of the royal family. Its basilica houses the pantheon of the kings and queens of Spain, and the monastery that was founded by monks of the Order of St. Jerome is now occupied by Augustinian friars. From the end of the 16th century, it was thought of as the eighth wonder of the world. Due to its size and its operational complexity, as well as its enormous symbolic value. From the top of the Abantos Hills, you can gaze out over the full glory of the Madrid Mountains, a massive that runs from north to south and is the natural lungs of the Spanish capital. We leave behind Castile and enter the autonomous community of Aragon. Here, silence awaits us, as hidden among the folds of the mountains, we find what many consider to be the prettiest village in Spain. Albarracin, with its narrow streets, its walls, and its 100-year-old houses, comprises a first-class historic artistic site. Albarracin is located in an area of outstanding natural beauty and interest, with the Albarracin Range being home to the National Hunting Reserve of the Montes Universales. A host of streams, as well as important rivers such as the Guadalaviar, Cabriel, and Cuervo, bring life-giving water to the mountains. To the north, only a few kilometers away but already in the province of Zaragoza, the landscape undergoes a radical change. A spectacular landscape has been etched on its seemingly endless plains. A sea of yellow grasses and white earth create a paradise known as Los Monegros. We are in one of the few desert areas of Western Europe. The silence, the emptiness, the echo of other landscapes remind us of the cowboy westerns and combine to make Los Monegros a unique region with its very own ecological value. Spain is a country of contrasts with a huge variety of ecosystems. This is clear to see by traveling just over 200 kilometers northwards. The valley of Roncesvalles in Navarra brings us back to green and leafy Spain, in which endless meadows are still home to a wild natural beauty that makes them stand alone. Forests of oak, ilex, and beech cover the hillsides of this green corner of moist Spain. As the traditional departure point for the Way of St. James, every corner of Roncesvalles is a non-stop coming and going of pilgrims on their way to see the Apostle. We continue towards the Pyrenees, whose splendid snowy mountains can be enjoyed at any time of the year. High mountain landscapes, with peaks rising over 3,000 meters, mark the natural border with neighboring France. Deep and inaccessible canyons in which the green of its forests contrasts with the surrounding white peaks. At the foot of the mountains, the Loire Castle rises dreamlike from the top of a rocky pinnacle that dominates the entire plain. Fascinated by its beauty, film director Ridley Scott chose it as the setting for his film, The Kingdom of Heaven. Its state of conservation, as with so many thousand-year-old Spanish monuments, is breathtaking. Without leaving the Pyrenees, we enter the province of Lleida to fly over the mountains of the Aran Valley. Wild natural beauty of one of the most spectacular landscapes of this high mountain region. Its ski resorts, such as Baqueira Barret, and the leisure activities available with all kinds of mountain trails and open-air sports, make the Aran Valley one of the most important alpine tourism destinations in Spain. The peaks give you a bird's-eye view down into deep wooded valleys where fantastic villages and hamlets lie hidden away. Here, each village invites you to discover its spirit, as well as providing the starting point for numerous mountain trails. We remain in Catalonia, but are going to a different province. Girona is home to some of the most charming places on the Iberian Peninsula. One of these is the Baix Empordà, a place where time seems to have stood still. This district is known as the Tuscany of Spain, and there are many similarities with the Italian region. Medieval stone villages with their castles perched high on hilltops. The ancient center of Peratallada, proud atop a stone cliff, forms one of the most important and best preserved medieval settlements in the whole of Catalonia. Its old walls, one of the most well-defended of Catalonia in medieval times, are dominated by a fortified tower that still retains its former glory. Here, every village is a historic monument in itself. The extensive flat farmlands of Empordà also offer the typical family homes of this region of Catalonia, the Masias. Manor houses of stone and sun-dried brick that date back to the period from the 11th to the 16th centuries. They were usually built in the middle of cultivated farmland. Many of them were abandoned following plague and wars. Today, they have been restored to their former glory as symbols of this farmland. The Baix Empordà is a place to be enjoyed at a leisurely pace, inviting you to go for a stroll and let yourself be carried along by its gentle rhythm of life. Here, the villages are beautiful, and its cities are no less so. Girona, the provincial capital, is a modern city, however, one that has preserved all the charm of the villages in this region. Heading south, The province of Barcelona welcomes us with the imposing image of the symbol of Catalonia, the mountain of Montserrat. The rocky peaks of this unique massif assume strange vertical shapes with rounded summits. From the top of these formations, the view is truly impressive. Hermitages rising out of unimaginable locations provide a taste for what is hidden in the heart of these mountains. The Benedictine monastery of Montserrat dates back to the 9th century and stands 720 meters above sea level. A focus of annual pilgrimages for thousands of the faithful, the monastery pays homage to the Virgin of Montserrat. The Moroneta, or Black Madonna as she is affectionately known in Catalonia, is also its patron saint. Warm coastlines, leafy valleys, rivers, dreamlike mountains that hide charming villages still harboring their traditions. Within its diverse landscape, Spain maintains an infinite number of secrets that make it unique, turning this land of sunshine into a show written and directed by Mother Nature herself.